Hey guys, we're gonna do a Q&A where you guys can get to ask us questions. So we're ready. You guys can pop in those questions. We're gonna answer them, and then we're gonna upload this video on YouTube later tonight. Here's a question. Brendan, how much would you take to cut your hair?
Like what? Like money? Funny enough, I actually had a dream
That you cut your hair?
that I cut my hair last night. But basically, there's no amount of money that can be paid.
I like it. I love your hair.
Yeah, it's an expression of art. My hair is an expression of art, and I don't know. I like it. It makes me more artistic, more creative,
and it's healthy and it's clean.
I take care of it. It's like one of those things where I get excited to kind of wake up and wash my hair.
Really?
Is that weird?
Are we looking there or are we looking here?
We're looking both ways.
Okay. Is it hard to be lovers and in business?
Yes. It's very hard to be lovers.
It's hard. It's
extremely hard. Yeah.
I don't know if I like the word hard. I would say challenging. It's the same thing.
It's hard.
It is actually quite hard especially because we are both almost very iffy about our work.
Yeah.
I'm iffy about my section of the work, and Brendan's very iffy about his section of the work.
It's just hard. It's hard to differentiate between like the boundaries. Of work and marriage.
Yeah.
They get very blurred.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think we bring our marriage issues
a lot of times
into our work.
Yeah.
And sometimes we bring our work energy into our marriage.
Yeah. For example, maybe I wasn't happy with something that we did, and then I'll say, I don't like this. And then we'll argue about it. And then later in the evening, when it's date nights, we kind of have to clear the energy first because, hey, we didn't agree at work.
Yeah, it's tricky. So it's very tricky. Like, I wouldn't advise it if you guys haven't been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I think friendship is very important.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the time, it's our friendship that carries us
100%
through the tough times.
Any tips for teenagers who are trying to grow closer to God? I think basically studying the word is very important, and by studying the word, find out what works for you. What do you enjoy? If you enjoy worship music, take some time where 30 minutes of a section of a day, that's when you worship music. When I was 13, as crazy as this sounds, at 9:00 there used to be a program by Joyce Meyer that I used to watch, and that for me it would push me to go and study my Bible because I found her interesting. So find someone who's interesting for you. There's your Sarah Jakes, who are very relatable now. Your Mike Todd, who's very relatable. So find someone who's relatable to you and listen to them. And I think that should push you in the right direction. But most importantly, make time for God. I think when you make time for God, it's like a friend. When you're going out on a date, you set that appointment and you show up. So set that appointment with God. If it's 5:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the evening, and make sure that you show up. And I think the more you get to know God, the more you get to study, the more you get to dwell into his things, there'll be very little room left to do funny things.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. Basically, it's kind of finding what works for you on a spiritual level, and also what works with your interests. Because now, with the internet, there's so many different movements that are pushing the gospel. That can cater for so many different people.
Yeah, like the guy you just found.
Like I found a guy on YouTube. I forgot his name, but basically he's a rapper, but he also he knows scripture. So basically he just kind of decodes a lot of what's happening in the Christian world, and he does teachings, and it's the most interesting thing. For me, it's mind blowing because I love music. Here's a guy I can relate to on a musical level, but who also knows scripture, and so can kind of also help me grow in my faith. So it's just kind of finding someone who understands who you are as an individual, but can also grow you in your faith. So 100%. Like Mpoomy said, there's so many people. Just search, just look, and obviously read the word.
Yeah. How do you get out of mental breakdowns? I think taking a break is rest.
You must rest.
Rest is very important, and one of my goals for 2021 is doing more of the things that bring me joy. And for me, that is like reading and being in nature. So I think finding out what what brings you joy, resting, and also reading, meditating on the word of God, what God says, who and what God says you are. If you are struggling with depression or mental breakdowns, I recommend the book Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer, which I read, which I think really, really has helped me a lot and continues to help me. Yeah, and also surrounding yourself with positive people, people who are good for your spirit, and going outside. I cannot emphasize this enough. We think that when we're tired, we should cover ourselves in blankets, but going outside, sitting at the park, fresh air, nature, those are some things that I can recommend.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same, man. Just really consider you need to rest a lot.
Yeah.
Even between like I have, because I'm a creative person. What I do is when I'm working and I know that I have a lot of work to do, I rest even between my work.
Yeah, you take your rest seriously.
I take breaks very seriously. I take like my own sanity very seriously.
Yeah.
So if I feel like I'm too deep into something, I break. I have a lot of things that I can do where my mind can rest. Because it's not enough if you're saying, okay, you're resting, but you're still thinking
mind is
about
still- yeah.
the work. That's why I watch a lot of comedy. I watch there was a time when I was playing PlayStation
Yeah.
to just get my mind off things, because you need to find ways where you can escape
Yeah.
your work doing work, or your mind thinking, and then you're able to kind of come back into a world where you feel like, okay, now I have control over myself.
100%.
I'm not being controlled by external things, because I've given myself time to really just be myself, to be
Yeah.
within like, yeah.
And I think just to dig deeper as well, what you're eating. I know with me, when I'm stressed, I eat a lot of carbs. I eat a lot of fried food, especially sweets. Like I could have 3 packets of sweets, and that just digs me deeper. And then I'll get lazy, chill on the couch. Whereas if I eat healthier, fresh, better food and keep active, I think my mind also kind of responds to that. Any tips on starting a new business? Scary. Just start.
Yeah, basically just start. And also the main thing, I was watching a thing the other day. The best tip, if you are going to go into business, is to ask yourself, what value does your business bring?
Love that.
And
What
and
problem are you solving?
And if you focus on bringing value to people's lives, then the point of starting your business is not driven by outcome.
Yeah.
And so you are able to, like, you lose a lot of the pressure that you put on yourself when you start a business. Because a lot of times we start a business, and so we are pressured because we have all these goals that we're trying to reach financially. And I want my brand to grow to this level, or the brand of my business to get to this point and whatnot. But when you look at it from a value standpoint, and you
Yeah.
say, okay, firstly, what is your business that you want to start? What value does it bring into people's lives? And if you think about it, okay, I want to create jobs, or I want to give people an opportunity, or I want to solve this problem, and blah, 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 blah. When you start to look at it that way, then it's almost like it becomes almost like your life's work. It
Yeah.
becomes more purpose
Yeah.
driven than just being another kind of thing, activity
Yeah.
that you're doing. So
Yeah.
the best way, again, is to figure out your why for the business, and then that will guide you into what steps to take.
Yeah.
To kind of make that.
I think I 100% agree with you. On another practical level, it's good to start a business when you don't have a lot of debt, and you kind of like, you're not starting on a deficit in your finances. Not saying that you cannot not start a business when you're in debt. You can. But to prepare you, like what you're saying, because when you're starting in debt and you're trying to quickly get out of that, then you're profit driven. And in the first 3 years, to be honest, profit, if you are making profit, it's a miracle. You're blessed. But for most businesses, for the first 3 years, everything you make, you're literally investing it back into the business.
Yeah.
So it's important to have your why and to have your vision, because that's going to push you. And like Brendan said, what problem are you solving? Are you passionate about solving that problem? And also, I think it's so important to emphasize this. I met with someone on Monday that don't start a business for Instagram success, just to post your accolades, because that will drive anybody into a mental breakdown. Instagram timelines are not real. People will post things something that's doing well, whereas they started 10 years ago. And then you kind of want to compare yourself to something that's been brewing for 10 years. So don't compare yourself to any Instagram success. Make sure that you're staying in your own lane. You know your why, you know your vision. And as much as you are working for profit, don't let that be your only drive. Let that be a benefit of what you are doing. What made you gain a lot of subscribers on YouTube?
I think it's the
we
same.
just answered
It's what we just said.
answered the question.
Basically,
yeah.
it's value. Like
Value,
if you can, for as long as you can create or you can contribute valuable contributions to the world. The world will receive it.
100%.
So I think we very what's the word? Intentional. I always forget this word. We're very intentional about making sure that whatever we're putting out onto the internet is something that, again, is somehow gonna either inspire, add value, touch, like be of impact. And so the return on that is that people subscribe, people follow, people appreciate, people acknowledge, or that you build a community basically.
We don't necessarily believe in overselling something.
We don't advertise.
We don't because when you do that, then to retain and maintain that is gonna be hard. If we're begging people to subscribe and asking people to mention us all the time, once you get that audience, then
you're at the mercy of the audience.
You're at the mercy of the audience. Whereas if you're just doing what you love, and you know your why, whether there's an audience or not, you're fine. I think we mentioned.
But also you're attracting the right audience.
But also you're attracting the right audience, and I think that's what's important. You don't just want anybody, but you want the right audience. There's people who want makeup, and there's people who provide makeup. But example, I can't do makeup every day on my channel because I know that the beauty space is bigger. I'm gonna lose that audience because that's not me. But real conversations and all of that stuff is what we cater for. And ideally, we want the people who are looking for that to come on our channel. But we don't like to focus on numbers because that can drive you a little insane. What happened to yesterday's video? Brendan decided to protect my peace as my husband.
So basically, we put out a video yesterday, and it was kind of like a very vulnerable video where we were kind of trying to get a conversation started on certain things that happen in relationships. But there was a trend in the comments of a lot of people starting to kind of use that as a way to make judgmental, cynical comments towards us. The whole energy of the video, I feel like, was meant to bring a positive conversation. And it ended up being a negative thing that we didn't even enjoy. Like, we like to interact with the audience. Like, we go into the comments and kind of respond and, get a general feel for it. And the general feel was not what we were trying to put out.
So basically, we were trying to put out a real conversation, and a lot of people actually, it sparked a conversation really saying, oh, I get now why men take gifts so personally and blah, blah, blah. But it kind of felt that a lot of people, for them, it was a chance to say what they've always wanted to say about me, which wasn't kind and it wasn't nice. I don't think anybody would enjoy it. And Brendan just said, listen, let's protect your peace. Let us remove the video. We don't have to have it on. And that's exactly what we did. And
I think what a lot of people forget is that when you are an online personality, it doesn't make you immune to feelings or like you still a regular person. So sometimes I think when you open a door into your life and you say, okay, this is me. This is how I feel today. This is who I am today. People see that as an opportunity to kind of like project their own pain onto you. So because they look at you as this figure who might not be human. Oh, Mrs. Mom's got it all together. Oh, Mrs. Mom is this. They put you on a pedestal, and so they feel like when they throw stones at you, you don't feel the pain. Which is not true. So I think one thing that we are learning as we are doing social media and as we're putting out content of our lives is, as much as we want to be real, we also need to understand that it's not everybody who understands,
Who can receive that?
who
yeah.
can receive your true authentic self.
Yeah.
So you still need to protect yourself
And put boundaries.
and manage manage the boundaries of how much of myself do I want to give people.
Yeah. I think that's what Vlogmas has actually taught us, is that
Yeah.
how much of ourselves do we actually want to really
give
put out
people.
there? When do you really know that you're fulfilling your purpose? I think, one thing I'm passionate about is the teaching of purpose, because purpose is not a stage. Purpose is not a moment. Is not a time that you're moving towards. Purpose is not a stage. It's not a microphone. It's not a specific song. Purpose is every day doing what you're supposed to do in the now. Basically, being fully present. Because when you're fully present, when the Holy Spirit nudges and say, "Do this," you will do exactly that. You listen, and that is exactly purpose. Basically doing what you're called to do in the moment. So I know we've all been through this phase where we think, once I can get on that stage, I know I would have fulfilled my purpose, or once I get to sing, or once I get to preach, or once I get to have 1,000 followers. But that's not it. Purpose is doing what you're supposed to do in the moment. And so purpose, I think, is continues to evolve. I mean,
so that's what I was going to say, is that you know that you're living in your purpose when your purpose is unfolding daily.
Ooh.
That's what I think purpose is. If you still tie purpose to an achievement or to a certain level or to an accolade, then you're not really living in your purpose. But when your purpose is fulfilling the day in a certain way, then you know that, okay, I'm living in purpose, because my purpose is unfolding every day. Because contrary to popular beliefs, purpose isn't we don't all just have one purpose.
100%.
There was a time where my purpose was to be a great student in high school.
Yeah.
There was a time when my purpose was to be a great contestant in a music show.
100%.
There's a time when my purpose is to be a good husband. So your purpose is constantly unfolding. But when you open to it, then you're able to fulfill your purpose.
I just had
time.
such an aha moment. Like, imagine missing your purpose of being a great father because you're waiting for this purpose that when the lights come on and you're performing to 1,000 people or whatever.
It's what we do. A lot of times it is what we do.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There's a stigma surrounding depression and faith. Your take on treating depression as a believer. We are big believers in therapy. Listen, and we are massive believers in prayer. However, I need to get my wording right. When Jesus was on earth, there's a reason why when people needed healing, he didn't just pray it away. To some people, he put mud in their eyes. To someone else, he said, jump in the pool of Bethesda. To someone else, they touched the hem of his garment. There's different ways to deal with things. And it would be very ignorant of us as Christians to just say, pray it away. Yes, we pray, we ask God for the wisdom and the guidance on how to deal with this thing, and then we take those steps. And the Bible even speaks that if you have issues, go to the elders of the church, speak to them. And now, don't take it literally, but speak to someone who is trained to deal with depression. So if you need to go to therapy, if you need to write it down, whatever steps that you think can help you, even if it comes to medication, if that's what the Holy Spirit has led and what your doctor prescribes, there's a reason why we have doctors. Even in Bible times, there were physicians. So we don't believe in praying everything away, but just like Jesus was practical in his time, so we believe that we should use the tools of today with prayer to help us.
100%.
How did you start networking with other influencers? I don't know if I really focused
on that.
I
think you focused really on what you were trying to put on the table.
I focused what I was trying to do, because the danger in that is that you have expectation that this one must put me on, or this one must this, and which is really, really unfair. But I went to events. There was the one time I did really go out to network. There was an APSA event where it was open to the public, and Y'all's was speaking, Mihlali was speaking, I don't remember who else was speaking. And at the time I wanted to go and get into the natural hair industry, and I knew Y'all's was going to be there. So I went to the event and then I greeted her and then we started talking. But I didn't like, hey, can I come on your channel? Hey, can you put me on? It was just a general conversation, but in that space they were talking about their careers. So I think if there's like public invites, and now a lot of brands do use a lot of influencers to communicate stuff, like like a glamour magazine will have a live between a Jessica Fanieda and what. So those are platforms you should engage in, where you will get all the information you need. But yeah, I that wasn't a big focus of mine.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
focus on whatever your niche is, and growing it, and making sure that you really perfect what you're doing, and that you have an active audience that you are engaging, even if it's at a small scale. Yeah, it makes a difference. Like I always say, if you can't sell something to your own family, then how are you going to sell it to other people?
Ooh.
If you can't sell it in your own circle, how are you going to sell it to? It doesn't matter if you meet people. In fact, I got a DM today, and someone was like, I'm from a very small town and I'm a great singer, but can you please help me to get my breakthrough? And I just thought about it, and I was like, well, if they knew anything about me, I'm from a small town.
Yeah, like the smallest town.
I'm from
Yeah.
a small town. So, but the whole thing was that mentality of thinking someone else
Will put you
has
on.
your
Your
breakthrough.
destiny.
Like,
Yeah, it's wrong.
it's wrong. No
Yeah.
one's got it. Like,
Because if they have it, they can take it away from you.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't even have it.
100%.
Because you have it.
100%.
You are the key. Like
Yeah.
everything that you need to succeed is already within you.
Yeah.
And you just need to unlock it. And you need to make sure that you are like you living at the highest level wherever you are. So you're doing your best wherever you are.
It just reminded me of a question. Someone asked me, hey, Mpoomy, I have few followers, but I want to be a content creator. And I genuinely asked the question, do you want to be a content creator, or do you want to have a lot of followers? Because if you want to be a content creator, even if you're creating to one person, create your content. If you want to have a lot of followers, there's ways you can buy followers and buy robots. I don't know if that's the path you want to take.
There's a friend of mine who has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And I think they get like
3 views.
like 3 views.
Legit 3 views.
The
We're not lying.
quality of that podcast
Out of this
is
world.
insane.
We go
right?
to their podcast to check out
like
what's
we
next.
literally like, okay, how are we gonna better our work?
Yeah.
We look from them, and it's just to say that if you want to do something, it doesn't matter the level of audience.
Yeah.
But if you truly want to do it, and I think in the long run, it will achieve what it's said to achieve.
100%.
Like we said, it helps us. It helps us grow our thingy. You know.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do. For them, they have the technical know-how, so they go crazy with the production. And so, like Mpoomy said, do you want to create content,
Or do you want to be
or
famous?
do you want to be famous?
How have your children affected your relationship positively? I said to Brendan, I hope the world doesn't try to dim her light.
Yeah.
Because our daughter is such a strong person. She's such a strong personality.
fire.
She's literally a fire, and she knows what she wants, and that can be taken as, oh, she doesn't listen, or oh, she's bossy, or what. And Brendan said to me, she will always be protected, and she'll be the best thing ever as long as I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I realized that's what Brendan's been to me, and for me, that parts of me that I've needed to maybe hide because people don't really get, you've embraced, and that's helped me. It's helping me become the best version of me. So watching his relationship with our daughter makes me realize, man, this man really, really loves me and wants the best for me. So
I think the problem with the world, I even forgot the question.
Well, how has our children affected our relationship positively?
But I'm going to go deeper into what you're saying, because I think it's so important. The problem with the world is that we like things when they are convenient to us.
Yeah.
So we like, if someone, for instance, if we like people to complain if we are in the queue that they're complaining in.
Yeah.
But if they're complaining in a different queue and it's not serving or helping us in any way, we see fault in that. And it's the same thing with people. It's that the same things that make you great are the same things that people will pick apart.
Yeah.
The same things that people like about me are the same things that people will hate about me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I believe that in raising children, really what we are meant to do is to protect them to stay themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever had a child, you know that your child has a personality from
Yeah.
the second
they're born, they are
you know
already
exactly who
themselves.
that child is.
Yeah.
And so your job is to make sure that they stay that way.
Yeah.
Because all the world does is suck out of a person.
Yeah.
And so I never, like I always tell you, I never ever want you to change.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have gotten here if you weren't like that.
Mm.
So even in being a husband, I need to understand that I can't praise you for being super efficient and stern in your company and your business, and then when you bring that into the marriage, all of a sudden it's a
wanna tear
problem.
it apart, yeah.
Oh no, why do you want us to be on the date at the right time?
Yeah.
You know, but I
Yeah.
know when we work, you always want to be on time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I need to understand, why do I love you, what
Yeah.
it is, and not make it convenient to my own comfort.
Yeah.
Which is what we do, I think, in life, is that we want to make people's personalities convenient to our comfort.
Yeah. So I think to sum it up, I think it's such a brilliant question. Our kids, and funny enough, God has a way. Zani is exactly like you.
Yeah.
Zani is literally
God has a sense of humor.
He's got a sense of humor. Zani is literally Zani's a mama's boy and Nuri's a daddy's girl. So clearly we really, really like each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the positive part, is we learning, like realizing that we actually really, really like each other. It's just that umuntu uyamjwayela, and that very same thing you fell in love with, you want to start nitpicking. But kids come and they show you that actually that's your power.
That's your superpower.
That's your superpower, and that's your beauty.
Superpower.
Yeah, I think we can end it there.
Yeah, I think this has been so deep.
This has been deep, but
It's extremely deep.
Yeah, but
how are the people feeling? Are the people?
yeah,
is
they're
everything
going.
fine?
Yeah, everything's fine. Let me take this last one, which is an important one. Mpoomy, how do you stay confident about your body after having a baby, knowing that it's still not as it was? Firstly, realizing that I'm never ever gonna have that body again.
I think you might actually get it. You're on track for
For
getting
a better
better
one,
body.
right?
Yeah, at this point.
And secondly, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I stand in the mirror and I'll say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. And then what? A return to love has taught me that I am not my body. This just houses my being. My being is my soul. The love and the energy that I bring to this world. This will change. Tomorrow's trend is curly big hair. Today's trend is blonde. Yes, last year's trend was skinny and tall. This year is thick, curvy, and short. It's always going to change. And we cannot keep up with that unless you've got money to keep paying for surgeries. And I don't recommend that. But and also realizing that I housed 2 babies. And not to say that I'm always confident. I have days where I feel like, yo, girl, it's just not looking good. But then I've decided to take care of my body. And Brendan affirms me every single day. Literally, I won't even lie. He affirms me. Why are you looking at me like a piece of meat?
I'm just thinking it's when the lights turned out.
He affirms me, but not to say you should depend on people's affirmations. Every now and then, like for me, I think the hardest change has been my breasts, which went up 3 cup sizes. And that's been a challenge for me. But every now and then I have to stand in the mirror and say, I'm grateful for
3
you.
cup sizes didn't sound so bad.
No, I have to stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm grateful for you. You fed 2 babies. And yeah, like I said, you're not always going to feel like that. So I'm not even trying to push to you that you're always going to feel great. You're not always going to feel great, but be grateful for your body and stand in the mirror and appreciate your body, and also know that you're not your body. You're a soul, and your soul just happened to choose this shell. So thank this shell for housing your being.
Righty.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And I think to end things off, this is my daily reminder. I've decided that every day I'm going to post reminders, whether in writing or in a picture or in a story, of be kind.
Yeah. It's guys, we have to intentionally
Be kind.
because we've all been trained to be mean.
To be mean, gossips, nasty.
It is like fashionable
Yeah.
to hurt people's feelings, to not care. Like if you go onto Twitter and you see what's trending, it's very rarely positive
100%,
what's trending. It's
yeah.
always who must fall today, who we pulling down today. So it's something that we have to be intentional about.
Yeah.
Every day being kind.
Yeah.
Everything we do, are we being kind?
Yeah.
Are we extending a helping hand? or are we just bringing more sorrow
Yeah.
onto people who are hurting?
Yeah. I once tweeted that what you say could either be someone's next move of taking their life away, or pressing on to another day.
Yeah.
So this is my daily reminder that be kind, be loved. If you have nothing nice to say, put away your phone, go take a nap, drink some water, and come back when you're feeling better.
Eat some fish.
My great.
It's a great
Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining us. You're amazing. This will be uploaded on YouTube, so we're not going to save it.
I think we might even put it on our podcast.
We might even put it on our podcast because I think it was quite a great conversation.
Yeah.
You guys have asked amazing questions. So I'm not going to save it on a live here. Check it out on our YouTube channel. And yeah, happy Vlogmas.
Cheers, guys.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.